Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. We are getting super close to the end of this 24 and 24. And it's been a very long 24 hours as I've been recording this February 13th to the 14th overnight and going live and hanging out with podcasters and doing this marathon thing. And it's been interesting. And I'm still sipping coffee. I've gone way over my limit for coffee intake. And I'm almost there. We're almost done our path. We're almost at the finish line, everyone. So thank you for sticking with me. If you're listening to this in the future, I've been doing this 24 episodes in 24-hour marathon, self-imposed. I don't know anybody else who's doing this. I don't think it's very common, but I've been recording and publishing an episode every hour on the hour. So I wanted a 24 episode arc to have one main theme to talk about over this 24 hours of recording and publishing time. And so I thought, well, creating a path for podcasters to go from beginning as a beginner all the way through to pro, like actually being in podcasting and understanding it and developing your show. I wanted something that carried us through the entirety of the process, touching on some of the main key things that we need to know as podcasters. This isn't an exhaustive list by any means, but what I've been hearing from new listeners to my show, the How to Podcast series, of which you're listening right now, is they come to the show and there's a wall of episodes and they're like, I don't even know where to start. I just want like a condensed version of the show that touches on some of the key things that you expand on in the podcast, but can you just give me a starting point? So these 24 episodes in a row are going out into the world. I know it's a lot of content to go out over a 24-hour period. I get that. As a listener, you're probably looking at your phone like, is my phone broken? Like, why are there so many episodes? That's just Dave. And again, what I've done is grouped all these episodes together on YouTube. So you can go to my YouTube channel. There's a link in the show notes. And it's just a curated list, all 24 episodes together in one location. Easy to share. If you know another person who's thinking about podcasting and wants podcast advice for free and no sales funnel, send them a link to my playlist, copy it, send it to them. And it's just meant to be an encouraging starting point for anybody new or a refresher for somebody who's been in podcasting for a while. Just some of the things maybe you've passed over or haven't really done to any depth before for your show. That's what it's meant to be. So I hope you find value in it. Love to get your feedback on the entire series and what I've missed. And maybe I can tag that in the future and update the episodes as well. But they all live in that playlist. Share it away if you can. I'd appreciate that. We're going to talk about the podcaster's mindset today. This is super important. And it carries through in everything we've talked about in the last series of episodes for this topic. But I think as podcasters, our mindset is something we need to grow and we need to protect. So let's talk about this. When you set out to start a podcast, you're putting yourself out there in the world. And by putting yourself out in the world, you are opening yourself up to praise, admiration, and criticism. You're opening yourself up to opinions. You're opening yourself up to people talking about you, to you, and about you behind your back. It's a little daunting to do this, to have the ambition to put your podcast and your voice out into the world. I get that. And after a while, you'll settle into your routine of your podcast. You'll settle into your content. You'll start building relationships with your audience. All that stuff is great. But when it comes back to our mindset, we want to make sure that we're healthy as well as podcasters. One of my podcasting friends, his name is Danny Brown. DannyBrown.me is his website. Danny talks a lot about mental health for creators, and that he challenges the idea that as podcasters, we bring on people who talk about their mental health journey and how they've grown and how they help people. And our shows become a support for people on a journey of working with their mental health and finding healthy alternatives to some pretty unhealthy things that have been happening for them mentally. But Danny says, it's great that we have podcasts to help our listeners, but where are the podcasts and the podcasters that help their fellow creators? And who's there for us as podcasters? Who's there for our mental health? Who's there to support us and encourage us and challenge us at times? But who is there in our corner? And I talk about here on this episode and in other episodes that we need 3 people in our life. We need a challenger who challenges us to do better, who can speak hard truths, and we trust and love them for it. We have a cheerleader who just loves everything we do, and they see us through rose-colored glasses. They just think you're awesome, and they're like, go you, right? They're just great. And then we have a coach who looks at what we're doing from a different perspective and offers insight and helps us to avoid some of the obvious things we're heading for that could be our downfall. These 3 people combined become our circle, become our main support. And I think we need that. And if you're trying to do podcasting on your own, especially if you deal with topics that are at times pretty deep, pretty intense. My author podcast, I have people on who've gone through traumatic life experiences and then wrote their story about it. And when we get on together and talk, it's heart-wrenching. Some of the stories I hear from people and what they've been through. And after you have several interviews back to back in one day, you're done. Mentally, you're done. You don't know what to think anymore because you've just been dealing with somebody's trauma and all of the things they've been through, and it just weighs on you. So we need to watch our mindset and protect the good side of our mindset and be diligent to keep our mindset strong and pure and protect our mental health, as Danny encourages us to do. DannyBrown.me. We face a lot of mental battles as podcasters and content creators, from crickets in the downloads. A new episode goes out and there's really no reaction. Even over this 24-hour period, I went live on a few different platforms. I don't normally do this. And to the credit of the platforms, because I don't normally do it, I'm not known to be on there. And I didn't plan ahead. I didn't announce it. I did a lot of things wrong. But I went live and I sat in empty rooms, just me and my webcam, and there's nobody there. So it's heart-wrenching when you put yourself out there and you don't get the response you expected. And it happens in our podcast as well. We have things where technology fails us. We have that guest that is so disengaged, it's like dragging them along with us and trying to get them to open up, and they just won't. The podcaster's mindset isn't about just grinding as well. I'm a bad example of this, doing 24 episodes in 24 hours and 365 episodes this year. It's not just about grinding harder. Those are personal things that I'm doing to put myself in a creative space, not something I'd recommend to anybody else to do. It's about building your resilience to bounce back when things go wrong, to creatively stand out in your space, and a long-term view that turns your hobby into a lasting voice. That's what we're looking at here as we kind of get close to the end of our journey together on this podcaster's path. Resilience is required when your microphone and your podcast feels heavy. Every podcaster knows the sting of 0 comments, glitchy audio, and that episode that was released, you're like, that wasn't my best. That bad review where somebody gives you 1 star and tells you how horrible you are and that you don't know anything. They're probably right. I don't know everything. That's why I have a podcast, because I want to learn. So these things happen. They replay in your head. We remember the worst. We forget the best. It's how things are. You'll probably remember the worst restaurant experience. It comes to mind as I say it faster than you'll remember your best experience, because we tend to focus on the negative. We tend to internalize the negative and remember it quicker than we do the positive. It's kind of how we are. You record flubs and you trim dead air. Do you do the same with your doubts? A failed episode teaches you about pacing. A quiet launch shows you need clearer hooks in your podcast. Solo creators especially build grit because every hat, host, editor, promoter, everything, forces you to recover quickly. Here's the mindset shift. Download stats, they don't define you as a podcaster. You need to understand that. In a world of Facebook and comparison and podcasters bragging about the size of their audience like it's some kind of competition, your downloads don't define you. They don't. One listener who applies your advice and transforms, that's impact. I have a podcast, Dad Space. It's a podcast for dads by dads, one of my other shows, one of my other 8 shows. And in that podcast, I talk about dad stuff. I love that show. It's totally different than this one, totally different audience. And as an empty nest dad, I just wanted to help the next generation of dads and support dads like me who are wrestling with our new identity as an empty nester. So that's the idea for the show. And I had feedback from a listener recently where, because of the podcast, they had been putting off getting mental health help. And they're just, oh, I'm tough enough. I can do it myself. I got this. I don't need this. But we had covered topics like that with guests and my own solo content and discussions around the topic, to the point where, as a listener, he reached out to me and said, you know what? I've been putting this off for far too long because of Dad Space. I'm going to go get that help. I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to a professional. And I'm like, that is the best feeling ever. Because if I look at my stats, where he is and his listen represents a 1 on my dashboard. But that 1, oh my gosh, he's going to go get help. He's going to be a better dad for his family, he's going to be a better partner to his wife. Like, come on. Like, that has to, I'm getting goosebumps. That has to give you life when you know that one person connects with your content and picks a new path because of your show. Even if your show's not that type of show and it's just a comedy show or it's a movie show or it's a sports show, it's really light, it's fluffy, it's not meant to be deep and serious, but people find companionship with you. You become their best virtual friend, that voice in their head, and they look forward to hearing from you. So don't let your downloads define you. One listener who applies what you do, follows your advice, transforms their life, and has a ripple effect through their family, that's impact. Your creativity, who you are as a creative person, as a podcaster, it's your voice is your signature. I want you to keep that in mind. You buy a new car, you sign a piece of paper. You buy a house, you sign a mortgage. You go to the bank, you sign the back of your credit card. Whatever, you sign your autograph, your signature, it's who you are. Your voice on a podcast is your signature. In a sea of 4 million shows, creativity isn't just flashy graphics and hooks and bait and switch, none of that stuff. It's your weird laugh, your unexpected tangent, your hot take that others won't touch. Like, they won't even go near that topic. Podcasters thrive by leaning into their quirks, not polishing them out completely and sanitizing their show. Resist the best practices that sound like every other show. Experiment. Do 5-minute raw riffs, listener call-ins, mid-episode, or flipping formats. Co-host 1 week, solo stories the next. Constraints spark genius. Here's the mindset shift here, under creativity being the voice as your signature. Copycats chase trends. And there's a ton of podcasts that just chase the trends. Original voices build deep relationships with their audience. So instead of focusing on what's popular and where everyone else is headed, you might want to go the exact opposite direction, because in that there's an opportunity to be a voice where there is none. Your creative fingerprints make your listeners return. It's about you, your take, your view. And people love to hear from you, and they want to follow and learn from you and see what you think on certain topics. So lean into that. Long-term growth play, it's focusing on the decade not the episode. Podcasting rewards the marathoners, not the sprinters. Episode 247 won't go viral, but episode 247 compounds with episode 246 before it. They build upon each other. Growth compounds quietly. Sharper hooks from editing reps and bolder topics from confidence wins. And fuller rosters of content from guest relationships all work together in your library of what you do to become a foundation for people. When they find your stuff, they're like, oh my gosh, look at the depth of the content with this person. Holy cow, there's so much here for me. And they fall in love with you and they go back and listen to your episodes. Track the non-stat wins in podcasting. Keep track of these. You're getting better on the microphone. You're a little bit more articulate. You're faster in your workflow. Your deeper listener emails are coming in. You're getting it to a different level with your audience. It's not surface level. And you plan for your path in your series, but each opportunity as a podcaster, again, builds upon each other. So look at your podcast as a big picture, not just a single episode. That's the big idea here. And focus on the long-term aspects of your show. If you're going to be in this and do your show for a long time, this is a main focus for you. The mindset shift here, you're not just chasing 10,000 downloads, you're crafting a 10-year archive of your show. A decade from now, your voice will inspire someone discovering your episode for the first time. That's the beauty of podcasting. It's not radio, where it's transactional. People catch you in the moment. They miss the first half of what you said. It's not radio. It's not social media, where you post and it disappears. And your posts don't even get shown to the people who follow you unless you pay for it. That's not how it works. Podcasting just lives on. What is your podcaster's manifesto? I want you to write this down and read this before hitting record on your next episode. I podcast for the voice that needs my story. I don't podcast for the algorithm. Setbacks sharpen me. Weirdness wins listeners. Today's episode stacks on tomorrow's legacy. Team of one or growing team, this mindset endures. Your show outlives fads because it's fueled by resilience, creativity, and patient growth. What's your next unpolished episode going to be like? Record that today. Don't be afraid to play with your show. It's not something that can't be altered. It can't be adjusted. It can't be tweaked. It's your show. And my encouragement for you is to have a positive mindset. Protect yourself. When you deal with tough subjects, don't internalize it to the point where you bring it home with you. And do your best on the mic to be authentic and real and a voice that people are drawn to because they love what you talk about. We're almost at the end of our path, and I'm glad you've been with me on this path and this walk together. Thank you for being here. If you know anybody that's interested in podcasting, let them know about the podcast, would you? Appreciate that. Take care. If you're looking for more information about podcasting and you're looking for a community around podcasting, come check out howtopodcast.ca. It's my website where everything we do around podcasting, this show, our community, our meetup, resources. There's a lot of great stuff there for you. A whole list of free tools that you can use as a podcaster to save yourself some money. That's based on my website, podcastforfree.com, which just leads you back to my regular website. And if you want any more information as well, there's a calendar link on my website where you and I can meet anytime. It's always there. It's always available. Whatever you see available on your end, I'm ready to talk podcasting with anybody. I'd love to help you no matter what your questions are. We can grab a virtual coffee and we can talk through what your big idea is, maybe some of your struggles in podcasting, maybe some motivational things, maybe some growth things. Happy to help you over at howtopodcast.ca. Come check out the website. Let's connect. Stick around because we have a bunch more episodes here on the Podcaster's Path. 24 episodes here in a row that's meant to be kind of your starting point for your journey as a podcaster. Or if you're going to start a new show or you want to refresh your journey and catch up on maybe some of the things you might have missed, that's what this show's about. I'm glad you're here. My name is Dave. Love to help you. Reach out anytime. howtopodcast.ca. Take care. Talk soon.